testing facility today, and I'm going to review the Barnett BCX Crossbow, and the BCX stands for Buck Commander Extreme. Now this is a brand new crossbow, and it won't be in the stores for another 3 weeks from the time of this video shoot today, but I can tell you, like every other Barnett product we've ever tested, it's a top-notch quality crossbow. It's manufactured and machined very well with great tolerances. We shot the crossbow already, and obviously we put it together. So we're going to give you a few tips on putting it together, show you how we put it together and how to shoot it and what we like about it, and we'll tell you if we didn't like something about it too. So stick with us. Okay, inside the box here, this is the BCX, and as you can see right here on the side, the package comes with quiver, arrows, a scope, and also an open sight system. So let's look in the box and see what we have here. Okay, to start things off, we have the RCD, which is a rope cocking device. And if you're not familiar with a rope cocking device, what this does is, through mechanical advantage, it pretty much cuts the draw weight in half as far as, when you're cocking the device and, loading an arrow in it, you're not pulling the full weight or the full poundage of the bow. For instance, if the bow is pulling 175 pounds of force, when you cock it, instead of pulling the whole 175 pounds by using the RCD here, through mechanical advantage, you're going to cut that in half. So you're only going to be pulling about 80 plus. So the RCD came with this from Barnett, and they sent us some bolts here that come with the kit, and these bolts are made through a joint venture with Easton, and Easton's been around the block for a while, so you know they're a quality arrow manufacturer, and they're trusted for sure. We've tested Easton arrows before. We've never had an issue with them by any means. And then we have the rest of the crossbow here, which we have to assemble. Now, we've tested Barnett's crossbows in the past, and they're pretty easy to put together, and we anticipate this one to be easy also. This happens to be the first BCX tested, and we were honored to get it. In fact, we're told that this is the only BCX in the country right now. Production is going to start pretty soon, and distribution will be just a few weeks away at the time of this filming. So we're going to go ahead and put this together. We'll look it over good. We'll be honest. And Barnett's got a good group of guys over there. They're big boys. If there's something we don't like, we'll tell them. If it's something that we didn't test correctly, they'll tell us. And it's a good working relationship. Nobody gets bruised feelings or egos. So we'll tell you what we think of this crossbow here. We'll put it together and shoot it a few times and let you know. I've got the unit assembled now. This is the completed BCX, and I'll give you some specs real quick on it before I show you how I put it together. The axle to axle here is just shy of 20 inches. It's about 19 3/4 inches, I believe. The flight rail here is all CNC machined aluminum. In addition to this is called a Picatinny rail, and it's a very common type of rail to secure scopes onto. And by the way, the scope fastens just by the turn of these screws here. Nothing but hand pressure required. Very good scope. It's got windage and elevation controls here. But I've never had to adjust one yet. Right out of the box, I'm shooting right on the money at 30 yards, and I haven't shot it past 30 yards yet. So I don't know if it's still accurate past that or not, but that's really not my concern right now, unless I want to hunt with it. But I haven't hunted with a crossbow before, but I certainly love shooting them. What I like about Barnett here too, they've got a couple of nice features about this crossbow that I really like. First of all, they've got what they call a carbon light riser here. They claim that head, this riser head here, is about 43% lighter than their normal risers, and I think that shaves off over a pound. Really nice feature. And they also have what I believe is the best safety in the business here. When you load a bolt otherwise known as an arrow. It automatically activates the safety in the on position. It also has an anti-dry fire safety feature on it too. It's very good. We've had to send back another major brand of crossbow because their safety was so poorly designed. We were sure somebody was going to get injured with it. They weren't very happy to hear that. But you know, we're not real happy to have to tell them that either. But nevertheless, we didn't want anything to do with it. We didn't want anybody to get hurt and send it back. Barnett takes the time to go through their units, make sure they're right, and if you have an issue with them, you just simply call up the phone. We've had to call them up twice, and they had no idea we were reviewing their bow, and both times we got somebody on the phone on the first ring and somebody who actually knew what they were talking about, and that is a treat today. And of course, it was right here in the USA. Very nice. Barnett's a great company. They've been around for over a half a century, and every year they continue to show better products and better features. And another thing I like about the Barnett too, before I show you how we put it together, is they take the time, even with their molds and so forth. You know, you've got a unit here that's mass produced, and you know, even where the casting flash here from the molds are butting up against each other, the tolerances are super tight. Everything butts up great. Everything matches up. You would expect something like this from a hand-built unit, but they do a very nice job with that. We really like it. When you put the unit together, it comes in two sections, the stock part and the riser. And that unit, I'm sorry, both units are held together with this Allen screw right here. Now they'll give you an Allen wrench that comes with this, and you can tighten that up, and they only recommend you hand tighten that, but that's all there is to it. You've also got a quiver if you want to put it on. There's two Allen screws in here, one there and one deep down there. I don't know if you can see it or not, that holds the bracket on. Then you simply put the quiver on and it snaps into place. Other than that, there is the scope, which we just talked about, that sits on the rail here, fastens by your hand. That is all there is to it to put this unit together. Now, a word of, I wouldn't even call it a word of caution, I would just call it a word of advice here. When you're putting the carbon head on, there's a rail here that the cables slide into. Barnett used to use a Teflon piece that fits in here that would slide back and forth, but that unit's no longer needed. So you don't even have to put on a Teflon slider anymore. The strings just simply fall right into that groove, and then your flight string sits on top of the rail here, otherwise known as the flight track here. But when you put the strings in here and the string on top, it's going to create a little tension, causing the head to dip down. Instead of trying to screw the Allen screw in with all that tension on it, just try lifting up the carbon riser here, taking the tension off the unit. The Allen screw will go right in, very easy, and then hand tighten it with the supplied Allen wrench. Piece of cake. The unit now is ready to go. I'm going to fire it and tell you what I think of it, although you probably already know what I think of it, but I'll do it anyway. Stay tuned. I have the crossbow cocked already, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second here. But I want to emphasize something here, that you've got three colors on your fletching here, and you should take the rooster color here, in this case it's the orange one, and make sure the rooster vane fits in that slot, because that will line up the knock just correctly at the proper angle for you to insert the bolt in and butt up against the string there. So make sure you put it in that way, and that'll be ready to shoot. Turning my safety off, making sure my hands are in the proper position, and it just shoots like a dream, just like a dream. Now that I shot the BCX, I just want to show you how I did it here in detail. I use the rope cocking device here, which is this rope here. And by the way, the rope here is adjustable. I purposely adjusted 3 different notches in it, and there's a 4th one down in here. And I like to take as much slack out of it as possible. It shortens the rope length and allows me to grip it and pull it up, to draw it all the way up into this mechanism right here until it clicks. Some of you taller guys might want more rope length in it. Shorter people want just the opposite. Nevertheless, it's adjustable, and do it whatever gives you the most leverage advantage. Now, it's important that you note that the rope comes around this groove here, and you've got a hook on each side, and you can see how I've got it hooked here. And the manufacturer suggests that you keep these close to the rail here. You don't want one out here and one here. You can actually get it cocked unevenly. So just put them up against the rail here, pull the slack out, and then you'll grab each one of these with both hands, one on that side and one on this side, and you'll simply put your foot in this groove here while the unit is standing up, and you'll pull back until it cocks. And you'll know it's cocked when it makes a clicking sound here, and once it does that, it automatically activates the safety for you. So when you're ready to shoot, after you've got your bolt placed in the rail here, and you've got the rooster feather down, it's properly loaded, it's cocked, all you have to do is shut the safety off. You're ready to go. Simple as that. Anyway, the review's finished. I give it a big thumbs up. Barnett really knows what they're doing when they put together a crossbow. I'm not a cheerleader for anybody, but I have yet to see a product from Barnett that has come to us that hasn't been well thought out, accurate, dependable, and safe. So I hope you've got something from this review, and if you have any questions, go to Barnett.